Today, I've got one of the best games I've played in a long time for you. And that's mainly because I got a solo warrior. And this is the medal or achievement that you really don't get that often. I think my last one was in 2019, 2018, somewhere in there. So it's been a while. It's a really, really difficult achievement to get. And oftentimes, it's not really worth that much because most people get it when they're playing an aircraft carrier. And they just kind of hide at the end of the match and don't really do much. And then, they win on caps or whatever. This one, we actually have to do some serious work at the end of the game. So I don't want to just, say most solo warriors are useless. But I think this one's worth a little bit more. I'm going to say that. Anytime you actually have to put an effort in a 1v4 situation to win the game is certainly one that I think holds more weight. So I'm playing Halland, one of my favorite destroyers in the entire game, mainly because of this incredible torpedo reload, narrow spread of torps that go really, 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 really fast. They're just so fun to use, in my mind. Yes, you get less damage per torp hit, but usually you get enough torp hits to counteract that. They're really, really, really fun to use. Sometimes I get hyper greedy like that. You're going to see this game where I stack them both on top of each other, which is maybe not the best play in the world to do. Should be really spreading them out, but it's fun to try sometimes. So we catch a Halland bow in. You'll notice that I ran away the first time I spotted him, and that's because he had some support with the Moskva. The reason I take this fight now, though, is the Moskva can't shoot me, and it's only a couple battleships really far away that are able to shoot me. So I'm fine with taking this fight. He damage cons, and, he damage con too early. And then we get the fire, and he's guaranteed to be spotted, which means he's likely going to die. In those scenarios, that's why you have last stand. You don't repair your engine, you don't repair any of that stuff until you know you're in a safe-ish position. This Halland decided not to shoot, right? And so with a 6-kilometer concealment, he was looking to escape to 6 kilometers and go dark and stay alive. But he popped his repair too early. And that's why a fire, yes, it's RNG. I fully admit that. I got lucky. But it happens, right? Those instant fires do happen surprisingly a lot. And that definitely helped me get the kill there. So we've taken a DD down already. We've hit a couple torps, and we're securing our first cap of the game. This is pretty important because you're going to see at the end, to get a solo warrior, you really do need to have a lot of points, right? Ships are worth, on average, I don't know, maybe like a 60-point swing from reducing your team's score and increasing the enemy team's score. Battleships are worth over, I think, 100-point swing. Destroyers are worth a little less, obviously, just being a smaller ship. So you really do need to get a game where you're ahead on caps and the caps are allowed to tick for a long time, even though your team is losing ships, right? You're down at the end of the game, right? To get a solo warrior, you need to be down at least 3 ships compared to the enemy team. So that's nearly 300 points you need to make up with caps. So important to get caps as always, for any game, but especially so in a solo warrior. Now that we've secured C, I'm just going to go over to B and see what's up there. We've already taken out one of their DDs that was in B, and I'm going to go and try and kill the Z-52 with the help of my Kleber and our Z-52 possibly. Keep your eye out for our Kleber, though. He's going to be the other guy carrying this game. He unfortunately doesn't live to the end, but he did a really, really, really good job. So if you look on the map periodically and you see the Kleber doing some really good things, like going and capping A late game, and really doing his best to push these battleships out of caps, keeping caps reset, that kind of thing. He did a great job. And really enabled me to win the game at the very end. The other, obviously, really good thing about the Halland is the AA. So being in a CV game with a Hakuryu, who later on you'll see he decides to just only run out rocket planes to try and come kill me and our other destroyers. He's one of those CV players. So, yeah, it's going to get a little bit sketchy with the way this enemy CV plays, but that's okay. Because in a Halland, you are one of the few ships in the game that are capable of shooting down an entire squad before it strikes you. So, keeping your AA off is a good idea a lot of the time. If you're lit by shooting, or maybe your radar or something like that, make sure you turn your AA on, because it is possible your AA shoots down the entire squad, starting at 6 kilometers before it gets to you. If you're lit anyway, right? Of course, in these more normal scenarios, when you're not lit up, you should be having your AA off. But don't be afraid to turn it on if you're spotted anyway, and the CV is coming to strike you, right? You may as well at that point, because he knows exactly where you are. It's not like you're going to be messing up his drop or his lineup, that kind of thing. So, little tip there about the AA. Defensive fire, if I'm honest, I usually do save it for the rocket planes. I find I'm able to dodge the torpedoes and reasonably dodge the dive bombers, especially because these are AP dive bombers. They don't really pose too much of a threat to me. So you want to save your defensive fires for those times where you do have to deal with the rocket strike, because they do hit really, really, really hard. You notice the enemy team has been pushed really far off the caps. So we're getting B now. Our team has pretty good control over C. Their Moskva is doing a pretty good job of stalling out our flanking guys, our Z-52 and our Hindenburg. Got to be a little careful around a Moskva. But we do get B. The enemy team is going to get... They're going to get A. But that's not the end of the world, because C has been ticking... And you'll see, it ticks basically the whole game for us. Only right at the end do they get C, or near the end. So, get another torpedo hit. You'll see more of those later on. Don't be too aggressive in these early days. That's why you can see I'm not trying to get up close to torp things. I'm torping from really far away because I'm not wanting to risk my HP pool. Here the Hakuryu finds me, catches me off guard, but we do have a speed boost, and that allows us to accelerate, dodge, and get the cap. I think we probably would have got the cap anyway, even if we had eaten that torp, but it's just nice to not eat that torpedo. Of course, there's the heal side of Halland. Yes, you don't get a smoke, but you do get a heal. And being able to heal back damage is wonderful. I mean, that's why Atago is my favorite tier 8 cruiser, and one of my favorite cruisers in the game. It doesn't have the DPM of the others, but it has a bit of armor, it's got some nice torps, it's got some pretty hard-hitting guns, and it has a heal to sustain it in fights when it up tiers, right? I really like a ship with a heal. I prefer a ship with heals, right? Here's a perfect scenario, is what I was talking about earlier. I am lit from shooting, so I may as well open up my AA as soon as possible. I should have had it going a little bit sooner, but we pop our defensive fire. We go as skinny as possible to the strike. Yeah, he gets 2,000 damage on us, but we can heal it. We pop defensive fire, and we shot down, 4 planes? Which isn't bad. It's a couple, and you'll notice I reset my defensive fire right away. As soon as it was done shooting, you can push, I think it's P by default on your keyboard, and that'll turn off your AA. And what that does is it actually resets your defensive fire cooldown. Something you should probably be doing on most ships that have defensive fire. There's no point in having it running while the enemy CV is nowhere to be found, right? You may as well get your cooldown running sooner. And something you can always do in a Halland is turn your AA on when you know the CV is not coming to strike you. I thought the enemy CV was coming to get me, so that's why I kept my AA off. You want to be stealthy in those situations. But as soon as he turned, like he was going to go maybe for our Kleber, I turned my AA on right away, because I want to help. My goal is to help my teammates, and my AA can definitely help my teammates a lot. So don't be afraid to turn your AA on, especially when the CV isn't as interested in striking at you. You can see he's prowling around, he's trying to find me, but he's not really willing to enter my teammates' AA. Right? I've got... what is that, an Ohio and a Yamato next to me? And a Worcester kind of close by as well. You're going to find that for the most part, enemy CVs don't want to go searching for a destroyer in enemy AA. If they know where you are, yes, they will go strike you through enemy AA, or your friendly's AA. But if they don't know exactly where you are, they're usually not willing to throw planes away to try to find you. And that's where playing next to and near your allies is often a really, really good option. The other bonus of this is if the CV decides to come strike my battleships with torps or dive bombers, I can just pop my AA on and shoot down a lot of his planes before they drop. So we're kind of helping each other in this CV game. That's where playing with your teammates can help a lot in these CV games. I get some greedy torps off, and, well, yeah, the Shikishima did not stop at all behind that island. That is who I was launching at. I wasn't just launching at the Bowie and Yamato. I was thinking maybe the Shikishima continues at full speed and eats all our torpedoes. And that's what he did. So we're up to 7. Once we get 8 torpedo hits, of course, I have the special commander that gives me a 10%? 5 or 10% reload. I think it's 5% actually reload on my torpedoes once I get 8 torpedo hits, which is amazing in a ship like Halland because you get a sub 1 minute reload, I believe, with a little bit of AR involved in that. So pretty nice. We're going to launch a Shikishima again because we know we damage con, so we might get a flood. That kind of thing is pretty nice to have. Here I debated shooting and maybe baiting him to turn and eat some more torpedoes, get all his guns off shooting me, but he turns anyway to shoot at what I thought was our broadside Yamato. So I followed the shells in. I thought it was about to be a massive dev strike on the Yamato. But no, he shot the Worcester instead, which is probably the right call. The Yamato's really not going anywhere, and getting a radar cruiser out is probably a good idea. And there you go. They get the radar cruiser out, and our reverse beached Yamato is really not long for this world. What I'm doing here is very important. I'm putting this Moskva behind this island, and I'm going to shoot this Shikishima. We know he just used his damage control. You can see the flashing lights there. We're resetting the C-cap, as well as getting out of line of sight of the Moskva. So now we only have to deal with a Shikishima that's probably going to shoot our Yamato, or the Yamato in the back that's either going to go behind that island or probably going to shoot our Yamato anyway. So we get a permanent fire, which is very nice. Halland does have some pretty solid guns. There he goes. There's the Yamato gone. Very predictably gone, I might add. And we get a double fire. So this guy's probably going to tick out. He does get a heal off, so he might live if we don't keep shooting. But we keep shooting until he's down to around that 1000 HP. And then we go dark behind the island. Halland's low gun range, it allows me to go dark here. That Moskva might have lit me if my gun range had reached to 11 kilometers, but it doesn't. The 10.4 kilometer gun range is actually a benefit a lot of the time. You can get into these fights with destroyers, fights with low HP targets, and as soon as you kill the target, you go dark because nobody's within that 10.4 detection range. I actually enjoy it. I enjoy the low gun range of this ship. Moskva radars, but he's going behind the island. Not a huge deal. So we try and reset him. You'll notice we got A now, our Kleber, putting in work, making sure that we're at least up on caps. And you can see the points right now. We're 695 versus 616. We're up on points even though we're down on 2 ships, including our aircraft carrier and all our battleships. So those are worth the most amount of points as well. So to be not only down on 2 ships, but down on 2 ships with all your valuable ships gone in terms of points is pretty solid. And at this point, I wasn't really actually thinking about a solo warrior. If you go and watch the stream highlight on Twitch, you'll notice I didn't even notice I got a solo warrior in this game. And the main reason is the timing of when our Kleber ends up dying. And that is what confused me a little bit. So here I'm trying to prevent this Moskva from getting to B. I know my Kleber can do a really good job of resetting B as long as it's just the Vermont. Vermont has like a 40-second reload. So a good player in a Kleber can dodge that one reload and then just pepper him with HE. So I'm trying to keep this Moskva from really joining the fight, really impacting our Kleber too much. But he dodges our torps. I should have probably waited a little bit longer, waited for him to commit to the B direction. But we do end up stalling him out a little bit. And we're nearly up to 150k damage. A pretty slow start to this game, I would say. But you can see, just being alive as a destroyer at the end of the game can really do a lot to help your team win. I was really hoping for a fire or something to pop this guy's damage con, and then maybe I would torp him through this gap coming up. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but I was hoping that something like that would help. You notice the CV is going for my Kleber. I noticed him trying to line up a drop, so I instantly popped my damage control, or not my damage control, my defensive fire, to try and keep the planes away from my low health Kleber, because that is the way that he's probably going to die in my head. I'm thinking, well, he can dodge Yamato, he can dodge a Vermont. He's probably going to go down to either the CV or the Moskva. And so I wanted to keep the CV off him as long as possible. I was trying to get over to him, but unfortunately we weren't quite in time. And the CV, I think it's a really good hit in here, but doesn't quite end up killing him. So we still have a 2v4, and I get 3 plane kills. That's very good. The more plane kills you can get on the rocket planes, the better, right? If he's coming out with half full squads, those are just getting shredded before they even get to me, right? He needs a full squad to really come strike at me. So that's really nice. Here, you're going to notice Vermont has all the cap points. That's why I put pop speed boost, and I'm trying to get around this island as quickly as possible. We need to stall B as long as possible. And you can see we got the brake package installed. The upgraded brakes allowed us to stall out and dodge the Vermont salvo. I thought about going dark here, but the planes are probably going to spot me anyway. You can see I'm trying to shoot the planes down so that they don't go kill my Kleber friend. But the Moskva kills the Kleber, and I decide to keep shooting with AP and kill the Vermont. But I didn't notice the timing of when the Kleber went down. So I don't think that I'm on for a solo warrior. Right? It was a very short amount of time where it was a 1v4. I thought that I killed the Vermont and then the Kleber went down. So I'm still just trying to win this game because, I mean, it's an amazing comeback, right? A full 20-minute game. We got 50 seconds on the clock. We've stalled out the caps, and at this point, we've won, right? Even if I do nothing, we've won. So that's why I'm just running off the map. I'm trying to get away as much as possible. I often see people lose games when they don't realize that they've won. I don't need to do anything, and we win this game. So we do, though, get a couple more torpedo hits on the Yamato, getting our second buff of our torpedo tubes, another 5%. And there it is. 19 seconds left. Say good job to our Kleber for definitely helping carry this one out. And we got some people on the enemy team that know me saying good job, so thank you guys. Good game, of course. A very close one like this. It's always fun for me. And to just wrap it up so perfectly, look at those planes all die. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a beautiful way to end it? I was so happy to see those planes all die on top of the win. And there it is, the award. Solo Warrior. Stand against 4 people and win. It's a really incredible award, and not a lot of people even have this award, let alone multiple. I actually have 3 of them already, so that is not that many, considering I've been playing since 2015. It's one every couple years, right? So a really awesome game. 185k, 17 torpedo hits, 4 kills. Nearly got the Kraken. We had a couple opportunities there to get maybe one more kill and get a Kraken on top of this, but still, awesome game. Got all the plane kills, 3k base, and there you can see our Kleber did a great job as well. Getting, only 300 base XP less than me. That was really, really, really well done. Stalling out the caps, getting caps, that kind of thing. Destroyers are strong, guys. They're very, very strong. And Halland, in my mind, is one of the most fun ones to play. So the captain build is basically the same as I've had for a long time, if though you're curious what I've got. Running Liquidator, Last Stand, Survivability Expert, and Concealment in that order. That would be the first 10-point commander I would go for. And then I would probably go for Fill the Tubes, and then I'd probably go for Adrenaline Rush, and then I would go for Superintendent, and lastly I would get Swift Fish. Just to get that torpedo speed up to a nice and safe 95 knots. These torps are hilarious. And on equipment, of course, we're just full torpedo boat mode. I use my guns, you know. I'm not afraid to use the guns because they're pretty decent. But the goal is to get our torps going as fast as possible, right? And that's where you get that 76-second reload time base with add in Adrenaline Rush, add in the Captain buff, which for those of you that don't know, it is 5% for every 8 torpedo hits, and it stacks every time. So once you get 16, it's 10% buff. The other thing this commander does is it gives you continuous AA damage if you get 20 plane kills. So definitely a nice talent to have on a ship that already has really good AA. If the CV wants to come after you, your AA actually gets better over time. So a really, really, really fun ship in my mind to play. And yeah, a solo warrior. Pretty incredible. Hope you guys enjoyed. And thank you for watching.